One summer afternoon, the sun was glowing brightly over the suburban neighborhood of Fairview. Emily Carter, a 37-year-old woman, had lived there for nearly 10 years with her husband, Mark. Their life together was steady and predictable, though at times she found herself missing a certain spark that had once colored their marriage. Mark was a kind man and a hard-working engineer, but his job often demanded long hours, leaving Emily with more quiet afternoons than she preferred. On this particular Saturday, Emily decided to enjoy the weather. She set up a lounge chair in her backyard, slipped into a modest sundress, and carried out a glass of iced lemonade. The warm rays of the sun, the distant sound of birds, and the peaceful atmosphere made it the perfect time to relax. She leaned back, closed her eyes, and let the stillness wash over her. After a while, however, Emily felt the strange sensation of being observed. Opening her eyes, she noticed a faint movement by the wooden fence that divided their yard from the neighbors. At first, she brushed it off as a squirrel or bird, but as her gaze sharpened, she realized it was a person, a teenager, perhaps 18 or 19, standing awkwardly near the edge of the neighbor's garden. It was Daniel, the son of their neighbor Mrs. Thompson. He was a polite young man, usually quiet, who often helped his mother with groceries or yard work. Emily had spoken to him only a handful of times, usually exchanging quick pleasantries when passing by. But now he stood there, clearly watching her before quickly looking away as if embarrassed at being caught. Emily adjusted her sunglasses and gave him a gentle wave. Instead of running off, Daniel hesitated and then raised his hand in return, his face turning slightly red. She could tell he hadn't meant to intrude, but his presence was unmistakably noticeable. Rather than being angry, Emily found herself reflecting on what it meant. She wasn't upset at him, he was just a young man probably unsure of himself. Still, it sparked something inside her, a recognition that even after years of marriage and routine, she was still visible, still noticed. That thought stayed with her longer than she expected. Later that evening, when Mark came home, Emily debated whether to bring it up. Instead, she simply asked how his day went, listening as he spoke about deadlines and meetings. But in the back of her mind, she couldn't shake the image of Daniel's nervous expression. It wasn't about him specifically, it was the reminder that she wasn't invisible. The following week, Emily decided to spend more time outdoors. Gardening had always been a hobby of hers, and she planted new flowers near the fence. Sure enough, Daniel appeared again, this time offering to help water the plants. Emily smiled and accepted his assistance. They spoke casually about school, his plans for college, and his part-time job at the hardware store. His politeness and sincerity stood out. Days turned into weeks, and soon their conversations became more frequent. Emily began to realize how much she had missed meaningful conversation outside of her marriage. Mark was a good man but often preoccupied, while Daniel, though young, listened attentively. He reminded her of the energy she used to have when she was younger, and in turn, she became a source of encouragement for him. Still, she was careful. She knew the boundaries that had to be respected. When Daniel once mentioned he admired her kindness and wisdom, Emily gently redirected the conversation, reminding him that respect and integrity mattered most in life. He nodded, taking her words seriously. The summer continued, and Emily noticed changes within herself. She began paying more attention to the small joys around her, the scent of fresh flowers, the taste of lemonade, the laughter of neighborhood kids riding their bikes. She realized how much she had allowed routine to dull her spirit, and in rediscovering herself, she grew more patient and affectionate with Mark as well. One evening, Emily finally decided to share her feelings with her husband. As they sat together on the porch, she told him how she sometimes felt overlooked, how she longed for more connection in their marriage. Mark listened carefully, and for the first time in a long while, he truly seemed to hear her. Over the next weeks, Mark made an effort to leave work earlier, to cook dinner with her, and to take evening walks around the neighborhood. Emily felt their bond slowly rekindling. Ironically, it was the watchful presence of Daniel that had prompted her to reflect on what she really wanted, not attention from strangers, but a renewed closeness with the man she loved. As for Daniel, he eventually left for college, waving goodbye with a smile that carried respect and gratitude. Emily knew that his youthful gaze that summer had not been malicious, it had been a reflection of curiosity, admiration, and the confusion of growing up. Looking back, Emily realized that summer had changed her. It was not a story of infidelity, as some might assume, but one of self-discovery and renewal. She had been reminded that she was still vibrant, still capable of inspiring others, and most importantly, that her marriage was worth fighting for. The neighbor's son may have been watching, but what Emily ultimately saw was herself, her worth, her voice, and her need to be truly seen by the man she had chosen years ago. And in the golden evenings of Fairview, with Mark's hand in hers, she knew she was exactly where she was meant to be.